Greetings, Mr. and Mrs. Internet, and all the ships in space. I'm Bram Michelson. Coming up in today's episode, former U.S. Army colonel warns of catastrophic UFO disclosure that may spark social unrest. Figure AI robot gets ChatGPT brain to train at lightning speeds. But first, get your telescopes and night vision goggles ready, because the west coast of the United States is now officially the wildest hotspot for UFO sighting. Researchers have been poring over maps and stats to figure out why the good folks in cowboy boots see more flying saucers than anywhere else in the country. Now, put on your shock face, because it turns out that vast deserts and darker skies free from light pollution might actually give you a clearer view of the intergalactic traffic zooming overhead. Richard Medina, associate professor of geography at the University of Utah and lead author of this study, him and his merry band of geography geeks say that there's a pattern to this extraterrestrial madness. And it's not just the after effects of a night out with the boys. The authors used data from the National UFO Research Center and included approximately 98,000 total sighting reports over a 20-year period. The researchers analyzed two conditions: sky view potential, which refers to the area's light pollution, cloud cover, and tree canopy cover, and the potential for objects to be present in the sky, meaning proximity to airports and military installations. Why is that, you might ask? The West has a historical relationship to UAP. Area 51 in Nevada, Roswell in New Mexico, and here in Utah, we have Skinwalker Ranch in the Uinta Basin, and military activity in the U.S. Army Dugway Proving Grounds, said Medina. So what do you think? Could it be secret tech, Uncle Sam's latest and greatest innovations in sky toys? Or maybe E.T. really is out there, joyriding in restricted airspace? And let's not forget the big questions. What are they doing here? Are they just passing through, or is Earth some must-see spot on E.T.'s version of extreme tourism? I guess until we've actually had one over for dinner, we'll never know. Flat, Hong Kong. If you've ever worked at a decent-sized corporation, you've probably done internet security training. You know, it's where they warn you of things like phishing, smishing, spear phishing, and all other kinds of online scams. So, do you feel confident that in this scenario, can you spot the scam? Picture this. You're just doing your job, sitting in your office of a big glassy skyscraper, and you get this email about a secretive $25 million deal that the CFO needs your help with right now. Smells fishier than a wharf at high noon, right? Well, how about this twist? What if you get asked into a secret video call with none other than the company's CFO and some colleagues that you also recognize on screen? Would you be able to spot the scam or transfer the money thinking that everything's on the up and up? This scenario actually happened to a man in Hong Kong. Our dude transfers the cash thinking that he's got the green light from the big boss himself and is doing him a solid. That's career-making stuff. Plot twist. It was a deep fake. An AI-generated digital masquerade. Now, I know what you're thinking. Bram, this sounds like a sci-fi flick. But in this case, truth is stranger than fiction. The scammers used deepfake tech to clone voices, making those familiar faces seem as real as the nose on your face. Until they vanish with your cash, that is. The Hong Kong police did not name the company or employees involved. They said the scammers created deepfakes of meeting participants based on publicly available video and audio footage. So, here's the million-dollar question. With scammers now orchestrating high-tech AI-powered scams, are we entering into an era where seeing is no longer believing? Can we believe anything that we see coming from the internet? I'll leave you with this thought. In a world of digital doppelgangers, can you even trust what you see online anymore? Flash, dawn of the 20th century. At a time when war was raging overseas, America was in a meat crisis, and a band of eccentric fellows thought, why not hippo meat? Leading this wild safari was Frederick Russell Burnham, soldier, adventurer, and the real-life Indiana Jones behind the Boy Scouts. Burnham claimed that these water-loving, hyacinth-munching creatures were the perfect answer to the meat shortage. Burnham sought help from an influential Louisiana representative, Robert F. Broussard, and even a shady big game hunter, journalist, and spy to help him bring this vision into reality. Cue the Hippo Bill of 1910, promising to turn Lake Cow Bacon into a household name. Lake Cow Bacon, made from the delicious hyacinth-fed hippopotamus of Louisiana's lily-fringed streams, could soon be obtainable from the southern packing houses. It goes on to discuss how lucrative this deal would be, saying that it could possibly have $100 million worth of meat grown yearly. But Despite the hype, and somewhat unsurprisingly, the bill flopped, and our heroes' grand plans went up in smoke. And maybe that's a good thing, because, as it turns out, hippos are actually kind of dangerous. For a long time, hippos were considered the most deadly animal in Africa. Hippos are known for being aggressive towards humans and even tipping over boats. And despite their size, they're actually quite fast, both in the water and out. But it still makes you wonder what the menu at Burger King might have looked like if they had succeeded. And I wonder, what does hippo steak taste like? Flash. Figure AI. Have you ever wanted a super smart steel sidekick that never tires, never ages, and can lift a sedan? Your wish may be coming true, because Figure AI is planning on doing exactly that. After acquiring a treasure chest of $675 million in financial backing from the likes of Jeff Bezos, Microsoft, Nvidia, Intel, and others, Figure AI is now joining forces with OpenAI, the wizards behind ChatGPT, to cook up a new breed of humanoid robots with brains that very well could give Sherlock Holmes a run for his money. And check it out, that's Figure 1. He might be striding into our homes sooner rather than later. Could this be the metallic messiah for a modern market? Here's what their webpage says about the project. With the first humanoid by our side in the workforce, we'll have the ability to create and produce so much more, address drastic labor shortages, and reduce the number of workers in unsafe jobs. Sure, Figure 1 is little more than a toddler in years, but with the likes of Bezos and Nvidia playing godparents, this baby's first words might just be revolutionary. With tech that marries ChatGPT's intelligence and DALL-E's artistic eye, the question isn't if robots will be part of our lives, but when and how. With pockets deeper than the Marianas Trench, what's cooking with this partnership? Are we headed towards a world that looks more like iRobot, with our new robotic companions taking Fido for his evening stroll and brewing our morning tea? Or did we just create our own robotic overlords? Personally, I don't know where this is all headed, but I sure hope that our android allies will be more like C-3PO and Rosie from the Jetsons, and less like Terminator and Skynet. But time will tell. Former U.S. Colonel Carl E. Nell has tossed a grenade into the UFO secrecy soup with tales of catastrophic disclosure. This bombshell was released at the Sol Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to exploring the broad implications of UAP, or Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon. They convened for its first ever symposium, sponsored by none other than the Stanford University School of Medicine. If the media buzz is anything to go by, the military brass is sitting on a powder keg of ET intel that could blow the lid clean off of UFO disclosure. The colonel pitched a campaign plan for greater transparency and a Manhattan Project to crack open the tech of our intergalactic visitors. The goal? To yank back the curtain by October 1st, 2030. Because, setting dates when it comes to UFOs always pans out. But here's the kicker, folk. Nell is arm in arm with none other than the Pentagon whistleblower David Grush, who left his cushy government gig to be a town crier for transparency and accountability. But this crazy rabbit hole just keeps on going. The word is that the US has more extraterrestrial rides parked in their secret hangars than Jay Leno has cars. This is where things get really funky. And that's the talk of biologics, recovered by Uncle Sam. That's right. Not just nuts and bolts and widgets, but EBEs, extraterrestrial biological entities, actual alien bodies, and they reportedly have been collecting them like baseball cards. So, what's the scoop? Are we sitting on a powder keg of interstellar proportions? Could this really turn our social fabric into Swiss cheese? Or will most people go, yeah, kind of knew that already? And come to think of it, how many of those recovered biologics were still alive? Could they be walking among us? Are they being taken care of? Do they want to go home? Are they prisoners? Have they made their way into politics? I don't know. The question that they're really asking is, should we be rolling out the welcome mat or getting out the riot gear? I got this feeling it's going to be a funky ride. Thanks for tuning in. That's all the weird news I've got for you this week. I'm Bram Michelson. See you next time.